Now then, here we are in a very snowy Yorkshire. Take a look at that. There's about a foot of snow here up on this moorland, and I am out tonight on a very different adventure because it's going to be minus 11 degrees Celsius tonight, and what an opportunity to get out and test some kit. And when I say kit, I have got the minimal amount of kit to survive the night packed up in this little bag here. So I don't have any tent, I've got no bivvy bag, I have just got a sleeping bag, a decent mat, and then the clothes that I'm in, and that is it. No food, no water, nothing else, just the gear to film with, myself, and the stars above, which there are definitely a few of there. So let's go dig a hole in somewhere and set ourselves up to camp for the night. This is definitely exciting. This is it then. It's a local spot for me, and it's quite elevated and has beautiful views, and I come here quite often because it overlooks the village that I live in, which is just down there. I don't know if you can see the lights in the valley bottom, but it's high up on a rock, so I have to be a little bit careful. If I just take you over to the edge here, you will see that all the way around it's a fair drop off, so I do have to be a little bit careful. There's a little bit of an indentation here where I'm just going to flatten these snow down and lay down a ground sheet, and then I'll put the mat on top and then my sleeping bag, and hopefully that's going to be enough to stop me rolling off this rock. Right, I think that is it. It's ridiculously cold because this is just like absolute powder. So I'll just lie down and see if I've got it about the right length. That should do it just fine. Right. And because it's that dry, look, it doesn't even stick to me at all. The gear that I'm testing tonight is made by a company called PHDesigns, and the PH stands for Peter Hutchinson, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago, but he was right at the forefront, a pioneer in designing and manufacturing down gear for expeditions. And he started the company Mountain Equipment, but then sold that on because it became a bit more of a high street brand, which most of the brands out there are now anyway. But he then wanted to continue with his own company, being PHDesigns, which then continued making expedition gear, which is all about warmth to weight ratio. So he made sure that the company was always going to keep within his original concept and heritage of making gear for the more serious expeditions around the world, whether that be a 6,000 metre peak, an 8,000 metre peak, Everest, Arctic expeditions, or some of these long multi-day endurance events where every single gram matters. A lot of their gear uses the best down in the world, which is 1,000 fill power goose down, and it is completely untreated because a lot of these treatments that you get for the down can reduce the lifespan of the down, but also they can be a little bit gimmicky as well, just to sort of draw you in to buy it in the first place. So the gear they do is going to be as top-notch as you're going to get. It really is top-notch gear, so it's just something to consider if you are ever thinking of doing something pretty extreme and you want the best kit for the job to make sure that you complete the challenge that you have set yourself. So the gear that I am using tonight, firstly I've got a set of mitts on, which are the Kappa mitts, and these are filled with some Primaloft gold insulation, so they are great working in very damp conditions, because even if they are wet they'll still give a really good level of insulation. So I'll just whip those off. Oh yeah, they've also got a set of idiot loops on, so you're not going to lose them, because when it's windy and you have to drop your mitt off to do something with the dexterity of your hands, often you can sort of lose it, so it's quite nice just having it attached to your wrist. The jacket is the Yukon Pullover, and this is part of their K series, so this actually, it has got the 1000 fill power down in it. It only weighs 355 grams, that is it. It's absolutely brilliant. I've used this on many of my cold camps. We've just got a pocket here just to drop a couple of bits in. I usually put my phone, and I've got some GoPro batteries in there now, just keeping them warm against my body. Two little pockets here which meet in the middle, so you can just sort of keep your hands warm in it as well. The hood actually buttons on, so you can take this off if you need, but it's great to have this on as well, because I sleep with this on buttoned up just because it keeps me head warm. On the bottom half I have got the Minimus. Let's do this splits like a ballerina. The Minimus down trousers, and these are made with 900 fill power down, and they only weigh 230 grams, and they've got a typical operating temperature of about -5, so I'm stood out now and I've got a set of leggings underneath, and I am actually quite warm just stood here, even though the temperature is about -9 at the minute. The jacket's got a typical operating temperature of -15, and it's more to do with when you are up and about and moving rather than just sort of sat still, because if you are sat still you generally cool down quite quickly, so it wouldn't be able to go down to that sort of temperature if you just sat there or laid there or sleeping. Although I have slept in this down to about -4 and it was totally fine. I've also got a set of the Minimus down socks, and they only weigh 90 grams. They do look a bit weird on your feet, make you look like you've got some sort of like weird pixie feet or something going on, but they definitely do the trick as well, so they're going to keep my feet warm within the sleeping bag. So let's just get to the sleeping bag now. Pull it out of here. And just give it a shake just to start that lofting process. Now this is the Hispar 400, and it's part of their K series again, so it's got 1000 fill power down in it, and this has got a typical operating temperature of -7, so tonight on its own it might not be warm enough, but obviously I'm doubling it up really by wearing my jacket and my down bottom, so that should make me well warm enough in these very cold conditions. Now the outer shell of this is called Ultralight, and it's a waterproof fabric, so that's actually pretty awesome, because I could just lay it down on here and it's not going to sort of take on moisture. Inside we've got a nice soft sleeping bag fabric, which is just nice against the skin, although I never sleep with my skin directly on this because I always have leggings on at least. And to make sure that we keep the lightness down on this, we've actually only got pretty much a quarter zip on the full length there, which just opens up enough just so you can get in and out of the bag quite easily. The decent sized hood on it, and the foot box as well has also got extra down in just to make sure that it does keep your feet warm, because obviously that's the most extreme, or the extremity of your body, and that is what is going to cool down or have the most chance of suffering with frostbite. So anyway, let's get this all laid out, we'll get the mat pumped up, and then we can get ourselves snoozing in these very, very cold conditions. My hands are already going, and I can also feel my nose is going, so I'm going to get these mitts back on, just because as soon as you start losing your hands it can be game over. Boom. Right, let's do it. Right, let's get in my Santa sack. Whip a glove off a second. This is the Thermarest NXT Extherm mat. So we'll get this pumped up. And do you know what? Because it's so dry, I'm just gonna lay this straight in this little well section that I've dug out. I'm not gonna bother with this sheet that I brought. I've also got my little Cedar Summit pillow. Oh, but to add to this comfort, I made some at home. Let's see where it is in here. Well, I say I made something. I've got a sewing machine out. I've got another pillow. This was like a couple of quid, and it's like a, if you can see that, it's just like a soft sort of pillow, but it's not thick enough on its own. And this as well is not quite thick enough for me, so I'm going to put them both together. So with my sewing machine, I got an old sort of stretchy t-shirt, and I've made like a pillowcase which fits both in together. So let's just pop that in there. There we go. So now I've got a nice thick pillow, which is obviously a lot comfier than just each one individually. Anyway, oh my god, let's get them back on. Bloody hell. Right, mat. This is the problem though, these things need a bit of dexterity from your fingers. See if I can do it with just these on. Oh yeah, there we go. So let's get this pumped up. There we are then, home for the night. As you can see, that bag's lofted absolutely loads, and I've not even got my body heat into it yet, so it should loft a little bit more once I add that. Very simple setup. Hopefully I'll survive the night. As you can see here, I've got my pillow which is ready to go. This bag's actually got this really nice sort of a neck baffle which you can tie in nice and tight around your neck just to stop any drafts coming in. And then obviously we've got a hood as well there, so I'll be totally fine in that, won't I? I am very excited about testing all this kit out tonight. As I say, it's cold, -11. It's not often you get that here in the UK. Well, I say in the UK, in England. In Scotland you can definitely get a lot of cold temperatures like that, but that's a fair distance up north for me, so it's not often I get to Scotland, so I am thoroughly going to enduring this cold temperature here in lovely sunny Yorkshire, eh? And I say sunny, I bet it's going to be sunny tomorrow because there are a hell of a lot of stars around. You can see the moon, which is just there. I'm grabbing it. And then there's a load more stars obviously, and then just the twinkling lights in the bottom of the valley of the little village where I live. Anyway, I'm gonna have to get myself in this bag now, aren't I, and hopefully fall asleep. I might wake up dead. I might just wake up dead, eh? Hey dear. It'd be a good way to go though, wouldn't it? Knowing that you are out enjoying your life to the fullest, big smile on your face. Yeah. Anyway, let's get in, eh? Right, let's do it then. So, first job, let's get them mitts in there. My boots off. I need to try transfer myself from outside into there without getting any of this snow in with me. I'm just going to tie my boots in camping mode, which means if I do get out in the night I can just slip them on without having to faff about with the laces. So I'll just tie them around like that, and then now we're going to do a balancing trick. going to put a down boot on instead of that boot. I'm already nearly falling over. There we go. And at least I can now stand on my mat. Yo. Luckily, there's not going to be any snow tonight at all. Otherwise, it might be an uncomfortable night, because obviously I've got potential to get moisture on the sleeping bag and in it. Whoa. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? I'm in. Problem is I can't reach you now, so I'm going to have to get out again somehow. Let me just put one of these gloves on. I'll make myself a balancing point, and I'm coming. There we are. Bring you a bit closer, eh? And that's a bit bright for you, isn't it? Turn it sideways. Grab that light as well. It's always a bit awkward because at night the GoPro is pretty bad, so I have to put fairly a large amount of light on it just to make you guys be able to see what I'm up to. Yeah, and this is what I'm up to, being daft, sleeping out under the stars on the most fantastic night. Absolutely beautiful. There we go, I'm in. And strangely, already I know I'm going to be too hot. The good thing is it's quite easy just to take my jacket off, and I can keep that within the sleeping bag itself anyway, just to keep it sort of clean and dry. I can just sort of lay it beside me. So nice to be out though, looking at the stars. What an absolutely beautiful night. It's moments like these that I just feel just so lucky to be alive and to have a body that works to get me out, to enjoy these moments, these places. It's also pretty special feeling just so minuscule in this massive universe that we are in. I'm just a tiny little dot, and all this just revolves around me and my brain, and I am taking in just everything I can for that tiny little section of time that I'm here on this earth. Just going to fill my brain with memories, and this will be one to remember definitely when I wake up dead. Brilliant. Anyway, enough of this rubbish that's spewing out of my mouth. I'm gonna drop my woolly hat over my eyes and over my nose, put my hood up, and then lay this log. So I need to get my arm out. We'll see you in the morning. Take care. I slept like a big fat well-fed baby. There was not a sound to be heard, barely any breeze at all, and obviously just in all this gear I have been toasty warm all night. In fact, I could definitely sleep a lot colder in the gear that I'm in. So nice to test it out to these sorts of temperatures, but obviously it's also nice to know the limits of these things. So it's a bit hard to test sometimes when you don't get these temperatures that often. But what a lovely night. Just so nice to be out under the stars. And I've got the sun rising behind you. It'll probably be another hour, I would say. There's a nice little bit of a orange glow. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. A little bit of frost on top of this sleeping bag, if you can sort of see that. But other than that, pretty much the perfect night. This sleeping bag is perfectly fit for myself though. It's a regular on the width and it's long in length. And it's very important to get the right size sleeping bag for you, because what you don't want to be doing is having large voids of air which are not going to get heated up. And therefore you end up being colder in potentially a bigger sleeping bag than you need. So it does need to be fairly snug fitting for you without you actually compressing it down. If it's too tight, obviously you do not want that either. So for me, this one being a regular wide and a long is perfect. And most companies will have a regular and a long bag. A couple companies have a wide bag as well, so that opens it up to having 4 different sizes within a particular sleeping bag. But with this company, PHDesigns, they have 16 different sizes. I think they've got 4 lengths and 4 widths, so you can get the bag made to fit your body shape. So you're not wasting energy trying to fill a bag full of heat that is just too big to fill. It's almost like when you've got a large room with a small radiator, it's just not going to be able to heat it up. So it's better getting a radiator that suits the room, or getting the room to suit the radiator. And that is obviously what I've done here. I've got the sleeping bag to fit my body shape and size. Again, with the sizing, a lot of their clothing can be custom made as well. For instance, this jacket I had made in a medium, but I've got a long in the body and also long in the arms, so it fits me a lot better. So because everything is made in the UK, you can order the perfect garment to suit your body shape. And which other company does that? Pretty much none. Most of the gear is made in China, and it comes in the small, medium and large and extra large sort of sizes, and you're lucky if you can get stuff to fit you well. So definitely a massive bonus. Anyway, I am now gonna get myself out of this little toasty cocoon and see what today has to offer me. What a beautiful day though. Absolutely beautiful. I always say how much of a lucky man I am, but I truly am. Right, let's get myself up then. We'll unzip this. Sit up and have a look around. You can see the sun is just striking over there on the top of that hill. So it won't be long and I'll have the sun on my face. Right then, we'll take those down socks off. And I'll do a balancing act to get back into my boots. Absolute wow. It is bitterly cold. My face that's exposed to the air now is really feeling it. And luckily last night I had this woolly hat which I could pull down over my eyes and my nose just to pretty much encase my whole face, so I wasn't feeling it through the night. But yeah, look, my nose is actually matching my jacket now. Oh dear. Anyway, look where I am. Yorkshire, the place where I'm from, and it is just a beautiful place, often described as God's own country, and you can tell why. So definitely put it on your list of places to come and visit in the UK, because it is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful, especially in conditions like this. Anyway, that's a little bit more about PHDesigns. So if you're interested in lightening your backpack for your wild camping adventures, or if you have any sort of a more extreme expedition that you might be doing in the future, then it's definitely worth checking out. Also, the guy who runs the company, Peter, has put a lot of videos on YouTube just explaining each individual item of kit and the features that they actually have, so worth checking those out as well. Anyway, I'm going to pack all this up into this tiny little bag and we are going to skedaddle off home, eh? I'm going to make myself a cup of tea, and I say get warmed up, but I'm actually too warm at the minute, so I won't be lighting a fire. I'll probably just keep my gear on and sit alone at home on my sofa in all this. That's how I roll. Right, let's do it then. I'll see if I can knock some of this frost off. Oh yeah, it's not too bad. Oh, the sun is just coming up now, and it is going to strike me within seconds. Look at that, wow. Right, I'm going to keep my gloves handy and literally just shove everything else in this bag. Very easy way of camping. This is my thermometer, so that's taking a reading all the time. So let's just sort of see if we're still in cold temperatures. Let's have a look. Yes, minus 5.8. Don't know if you can see that. But as soon as that sun comes up over that brow there, the temperature's definitely going to rise, but I think it'll only get to about -2 all day today. Right, let's shove this in here then. Done. I'm just going to empty the air out of this mat. I'm currently Superman in it. Not messing about, just gonna roughly roll it up because it's gonna be straight out when I get home anyway. And that is it, done. I'll need my gloves back on because it's cold. Oh, sunshine, look at that. Ah! Absolutely brilliant. You can see where my mat was laid there, and none of it has melted at all. You can just see it's just all soft still, just a little bit more compact where obviously I had my body weight through it. But that just goes to show that that mat really does not let any heat through it, so it's definitely a decent mat to take on cold winter adventures. Oh yes. Anyway, I know I waffled on a bit, but hopefully some of you guys will have got something out of this video, because it just opens up another option when it comes to buying kit, that's all. So definitely worth checking out. Anyway, I am going to go enjoy the day in this sunshine, probably out on a decent hike somewhere. So we'll see you on the next one. Take care.